I made these portraits on the gel plate with just a little molding paste and both acrylics and etching inks, and one more with charcoal, and I want to show you how I did that today. Hello Jelly fans! This is a photo of a hero. She survived the Shoah, lived in the US almost all her life afterwards, but returned to Germany at the age of 88 to tell people, mostly pupils, her story. She lived up to 100 years old and died this year. The main reason that I wanted to make this portrait, though, were her beautiful facial features. Can you say that? Facial features? She has all these little wrinkles, and I always get inspired by old people's faces and wonder what their lifetime stories are. I thought I would like to try to draw her face directly on the gel plate with a molding paste that I bought, which works wonderfully for this purpose. You can see it on the right side there. But you can also use a syringe or buy a fitting tube at the art store and cut the nozzle to size and use a thicker medium, or I think even gesso will work. You will see that with the same layer of paste, you can make two rather different prints in the same process. So I put the photo underneath the gel plate and followed her wrinkles, going over the light parts of her face and not the wrinkles themselves. I'll show you this now. I try with the hair to try this little tube, and I'm trying to make a hair-like appearance here. You probably cannot see that I'm only going over the light part. That's because you have a different angle on the photo for the view, if you know what I mean. Anyway, remember you have to go over the light parts only, which in this case is actually easier. So this works really well, and I think the size of the nozzle is actually very good for this. The face makes me a little nervous because there are broader white parts. So you can see now that I'm pressing out a little more, and in that way making it broader, and still I'm trying to follow in a certain way the wrinkles by also going in the wrinkled direction, if you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. Okay, this is easy. There's hair again. And now the face again. The broader stripes. The plan is this will dry, and as soon as it dried, this actually dried after half an hour, which was quite good, you can do the print. I'm going carefully here. I don't want to lose the nose wrinkles up there. I'm actually quite nervous. I'm a bit shaky. Maybe you can see that. Because I really don't know how it will turn out. I never tried this before. And the eyes are always the most important thing about a portrait. So I'm very, very careful here. The good thing is all this is wet. So as long as half an hour or so, you can still rub things away that you don't want if you think you made a mistake. So I'm satisfied with the first eye, and now the second eye. This darker part there is a little unlikely. It looks like a third eye was actually just the eyebrow space, the space underneath the eyebrow. And I wonder how it will look in the print. And I'm getting a little wild here and I have to rub something away. But I'm also speeding this up more now because I think you know how basically this works now. And going a little backwards and watching the whole thing, I am quite satisfied so far. This could be a real exciting result. We'll see. I use these very thin cotton swabs sometimes to rub something away. They are made for camera cleaning. They're smaller than your usual cotton swabs. I was a bit tempted to write her name there as well, but then I didn't, because I think everybody knows who she is, at least in Germany. So still a little more attention to the eyes. And then I'm basically done. I'm using my beloved Akua ink in Mars Black. That is the etching ink that you can clean off the best because it's soy-based and also very unpoisonous, as I said before. But I'll say it again, the Akua is really the best. And I'm rolling out the brayer on the paint a little bit because I don't want any blobs or anything. And I'm going over this with quite a lot of paint and over again because I don't want to miss any wrinkles there. Also going in different directions sometimes. So I'd say you roll it on until you almost can't see the white molding paste anymore. That's when I think it's ready. And this is wonderful because I am now taking the first print and the second print will be a lot different. Wait till you see it. I'm putting my Passepartout on it, and I will also use this to print through to have a square shape. So I'm putting on the paper, rubbing in very well, especially at the rim of the Passepartout frame. And checking from time to time. And this is it. I'm quite surprised that the first print went so well. And look at this special effect that the molding paste makes. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So now I'm making the second print a lot different. First, I'm putting on more or less the same layer, same thickness, I would say, until almost everything is black, but I'll try to roll it out evenly. And now I'm taking some tweezers. Yeah, I said tweezers. Usually I always say scissors. So I'm taking my tweezers to take the molding paint off. And that is a little difficult, and you have to take care not to cut your jelly plate with the tweezers. And that's why after a while I'm changing from the very sharp-edged tweezers to another one. Oh, no, sorry, I cut the part with the more blunt tweezers. I cut it out because I thought it was taking away too much of the paint at the sides. So I went back to these tweezers. And of course you always have to take care never to touch the surface. This is actually the most difficult part, I thought. Also because in a lot of places you can't see the molding paste anymore, really. So this goes on quite a while, and this is why you always need the etching ink for this, because it stays wet forever on the gel plate. I don't think you could do this with the acrylics, or you would have to make a pickup layer. So I'm taking the photo underneath away so you can see a little better now. I love it when they're tangled together and a bigger piece is coming off. This is like, how do you say, I feel like an archaeologist. Now, isn't this amazing? I'm really surprised how well this all works, doing it for the first time. Of course, I've seen it in other videos. Probably my friend McGeiz, I think he did a portrait like that before, but he made only the outlines, I think. Was it a Frida Kahlo? I think it was a portrait of Frida Kahlo that he made. Great channel, check him out. Now here I'm just looking for the last little pieces that I might have missed. And it's easier if you go up with the gel plate. So I guess I'm ready for the second print now. Putting the cardboard frame on again. I'm very careful that I don't smudge any paint on the front because I still want to use it as that frame for that picture. Same, putting on the printing paper. And I think I'm just using this kitchen tissue not to smear any paint from my fingers. Looking good already, but pressing in a little more. And this is the second print. And I'm very happy with this one too. I thought the first was more, it was more arty, how to say, a more interesting effect. But this one works really well as well, I think. And as a little extra, I took a transparent sheet and this time I'm following the dark lines with the charcoal. I will still be using the gel plate with it, and that's again totally different because this is of course a negative that I'm making. I've done this quite often before, but I think I never filmed it. The charcoal sticks very well to the gel plate, and you can just print it with a nice pickup color afterwards. So I'm speeding this up a lot. Don't forget to fix your paper with a masking tape so that you don't run out of proportion. I'm having a bad English day today. It should be registering. That was the word I was looking for. So the eyes are important again. I make them pitch black. I'm having quite a bit of fun with this. Who wants a charcoal copying video of you? Tell me in the comments. I'm always delighted by your comments. And I also promised a cyanotype video, but that's gonna take a few weeks because that is a lot of work and difficult to film, but it's gonna come. So I'm placing the transparent paper face down on the gel plate. Sorry, this is a little bit off camera, but I always want to film close so that you can see better what I'm doing. This is too close. I'm rubbing it in quite hard for quite a while, and you can see how well it transfers to the gel plate. And I'm sorry, I somehow didn't record the first print. I just took it directly with the paper, and this is what's still left on there, and you can still print, make a second print. but I'm using pickup color, this time acrylics, the golden open, the titanium white, because I want to print on this lovely brown rice paper. And pulling it, yes, I like that. The paper is torn a bit, but that only adds to the interest. And now I'm giving her even more wrinkles than she ever had. Yeah, I was just so inspired by the rice paper wrinkling. And then I'm coming in with a pencil and going over these, the rims of these, to make them even a little darker. And I'll show you a little bit of how I worked this out. The other two prints before I didn't have to work out. I just left them as they were. They made me so happy. And here I'm using a Fineliner, but I'm only drawing the outlines. I think I don't want to be so bold. I want to keep this subtle, nice and subtle and wrinkly. So this is the third print of her, which I worked out. And I love them all three to pieces, I really have to say. And I hope you like this too. And maybe try it yourself. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I answer every comment. Sometimes it takes me a few days, but I always do. I'll see you next week. Bye.